So we're going to start at the start. This is Lenna's Inception. This is a game made by Bitten Studios. It released just a couple months ago, middle of February, right? February-ish sounds about right. February 17th, to be exact. I'm pretty sure it's February 17th. If I'm wrong, well, somebody will put it in the comments or whatever. Game is basically, it's a Zelda clone of sorts, with like 8 trillion times the randomization. Dungeon order, what potions do what tunics do what enemies you're gonna fight, the layout of the map, always gonna be different. So how do we use this? The second shot should be about 5 seconds after the first hit, third 7 seconds, and fourth 8. 5, 7, 8. Okay, I got you. So we're just gonna a Stancipium. All right, so if you guys want to play along at home, here you go. I'm not running this or anything. So you start out, and one of the first things that we need to cover is you got to go fast in this game. That's what the point of a speedrun is going fast. So right away when you start, you are in your classroom here. Big spoilers coming in, for the record. Big spoilers. So just so you know, if you haven't played this game before, please go play it before watching this series. All right, welcome back. Thank you for pausing and going and playing this game before finishing this video. So this screen here, now that you've played, this actually shows you the order of the bosses that you'll be fighting. Dungeon 1 will always be Azrael. Dungeon 8 will always be Hatasia. We're going to play basically a sacrifice ending because that's the ending most folks are going to get their first time playing this game. Basically what that is you go to every dungeon and you fight every boss. That's more or less how you play sacrifice. There are 2 other endings to the game, but we won't get into that. So here's the other thing is this is kind of a big giveaway right here. I don't think we really pay attention to this that much, but this is a pretty big that's a pretty big tell right there. Big spoiler of sorts, kind of. So first boss, pretty easy to deal with. This boss, this dungeon will give us a lighter, and then we fight the boss Santa Quill. This boss here will give us the bow, and we fight Krabadon. This is bombs, and we fight Tentaluchus. This is lift/strength, and that's Hadraniel. This is Sandolphin, and we get swim from that. Jump and cat seal, and then the missing glasses in Hatasia. So that's a pretty good starting point. And when you start up the game, you start up here, and when you're doing a speed run, you just try to get out of this room as fast as you can. Once you leave this room, you can't come back in. So this, if you want to reset because of a dungeon order that you don't like, or you want to get a more preferred dungeon order, this screen will let you know what boss order you're going to get without spending 5-10 minutes getting to the second dungeon, or however. The rare dolphin, huh? Do you guys want me to put the chat on the screen, or I don't think it's necessary personally. Text mashing. If you're using controller, you can use 2 buttons, and you can hit them as fast as you want to clear those text boxes. If you're playing on keyboard, you can only do 1 input at a time. You can't really go like here. Look, if I talk to this person, why y'all moving? See, I'm able to talk to them and mash through that text, whereas if I'm doing the 1 key, I have to do it a little bit slower. But if you, why are they moving around? This is crazy. Stop moving. There you go. Start off, you need to get to this screen. This is the Elder Cave screen. Swim in 6 is as rare as jump in 3. Don't need the text on screen. Sick. People are gonna watch this and you're gonna be like, that's not actually what chat says. So here you are, you get that. Right away, I always hit the whistle, get Henrietta out of there. For one, if you have Henrietta here, you have to take, let's see here. There's a few seconds there, like it's like 2 seconds at least if you accidentally interact with Henrietta. Henrietta doesn't attack anything, well, for the most part. So you just want to get Henrietta out of the way as soon as you can. Mash through the text with Lance there, and we're on the way to Dungeon 1. What makes this game fun to speedrun? Well, playing the random seeds. It's fresh every time you play. No two seeds are the same. And it comes down to just ability to read and I don't want to say fundamentals, but just knowing how to handle the game definitely helps here, and also knowing how to do push block puzzles. That helps a lot too. Here's our little tutorial with Lance. Weird. Did not know you could damage those bats in the transition. Basically, you want to, and this goes for the whole game, you want to corner enemies so you can just hold out your sword, or in this case, the broken yardstick, and just do as much damage as you can, as quick as you can. Favorite trick? I am a big fan of some of the skips. Like, we actually have some skips for some of the bosses, not all of them. We'll get there when we get there. There's a lot going on here. So in Dungeon 1, the items actually just drop for you. You don't need to clear the rooms. I don't know why the choice was to set it up that way. Here's the boss room. So we don't need to visit any other screen. There's still one other screen here to the left. And we're fighting the first boss. So let's start here. Let's start. Tactic for this boss, again, pretty straightforward. I usually just hold out the sword. What you want to do is you want to cut the flail. And that's how you can open up so they can be damaged. Try to keep that flail as centered as possible so there's less walking time. But for the most part, I mean, it's only a second or two. And then you just hold out your sword. And that boss is in the corner, as Impy has told me, so this heart will spawn in the center of the room. Next big trick. This is one of the most important tricks in the game. If I press A, it's going to start a cutscene, and we don't want to watch it, so you push your map button, and you warp to the entrance. You skip the cutscene, and you skip a save prompt. When you save, I'll show you this right now. The timer still runs when you save. We use in-game time, and that is, if it's a slow save, you're losing 3-4 seconds at least, if not more. Once you clear the first dungeon, the game actually kind of shows you where level 2 and level 3 are at. So you don't need to visit Paige, which is back at the library. The library is now open, but I always do it anyway. I just feel better about it. Don't worry, I didn't forget tunics. This is the big reset point of runs if you've made it this far. I have 127 bucks. I don't need to be shopping for anything. We're not going to be resetting though, because we are doing more of a tutorial, less of a run. Doesn't show the guild and does not show the bridge, and that's why you want to go talk to Paige. Yep, we're getting there. We're getting there, Nippy. So a few things here. So there's always a cheap tunic for 20 bucks. And then 2 potions. The potion on the top at the Emporium here is always a healing potion. That's always a healing potion, so we always, if you need them, pick them up. And of course, I get an undead tunic and not good stuff. So yeah, as Impy, as you were just saying here, Page will show you where the bridge and the guild LLC are. Those are the 4th level, or I guess it's the second half of the game. The barrier, it's like the barrier of this game. See how fast you can mash some dialogue text there? Look at that. And then the guild LLC is our level 4. So now we have to figure out how to get up here. If we didn't know the locations of Dungeon 4 and the barrier to the second half of the game, we'd be spending a lot of time wandering around. Whereas if we just go talk to Paige, take the 20 seconds, it is 20 seconds time loss, we will figure out where Paige is. Sorry, the bridge. When the time comes. So unfortunately, well, I guess fortunately, since we are playing sacrifice mode, we are doing things mostly in order. Excuse me, free tunic? Awesome. Camouflage tunic. Let's take that off so you guys can actually see where I am on the screen. For the most part, we do stuff in order in sacrifice. I'll get there when I get there. Can't get ahead of ourselves here. Nice books. We don't need to collect the books. We don't. Those are not necessary for sacrifice ending. I'll show you what I'm talking about when we do stuff in order. Once I collect the item for this dungeon, I am going to walk out and I'll come back in after I show you something. Ooh, okay. Okay, this is fine. That's perfect. Are you kidding me? Let's go ahead and put this away and not equip any of those. So, if we were playing a different ending, which we won't get into today, we're just going to leave and never come back. Doesn't matter. So, we were in Dungeon 2. Here, I'm just going to use my mouse so you guys can see it. It's a little bit easier. But now, our prompt is telling us to go to level 3. So, whenever you get the item from a dungeon, it shows you where the next location is. Now, if you were to do some skips like we do in another ending, the catastrophe ending, sometimes you don't visit dungeons and pick up the items. So this little marker will be stuck on whatever dungeon you first skip. In the second half of the game, there's a place called Palace, which is not shown until you do it in order, and Maxwell's top secret laboratory. We're gonna go back out here. Somebody's got a question again. Sorry, thank you. How do we know? Move that mouse. How do we know which gravestones we can push? What? Oh, well, let me find one first. So in 8-bit, we are playing 8-bit. This game has 2 art styles, 8-bit and 32-bit. Perfect screen. Awesome. So, as you can see, these two, in 8-bit, it's a little bit easier to see. There's a slight color variation. This one's a little more gray. This one's kind of yellowish. There's a color variation. And then if you look at these lines down here, those are different. And then this one also has a little chunk missing out of it up here. And then this one's nice and round. So we can push this one. If we were in 32-bit mode, the ones that you can push have like those dots are formed in an arrow, letting you know you can push it down. I am going to be jumping ahead here a little bit. Possibly, if I can get to a certain screen. Never mind, doesn't matter. Something that you do want to do when you're playing is item drops are random. Sometimes they are triggered just by clearing the enemies on a screen. Let's go see if we can just find an example of this. Like here's 2 enemies here, right? I'm cheating. It's not really cheating. So there, I just cleared the enemies off the screen, and as you can see, an item just dropped. Sometimes that item can be a tunic, or money, or a meteor, which, depending on what run you're doing, that could be very beneficial. Graves are a good source of tunics, yes. So that's why I personally always push them. It doesn't take too much time to check them. Unless you open a grave that has a cave below it, because then you have to transition to the cave and then back. But if you get a good tunic out of it, it's totally worth it. Something else to remember, if you do leave a dungeon, when you come back, stuff's reset. It's like I just did that room here. If I go back into this room, as long as I stay in this dungeon, well, it does that, but the door is open and the enemy's gone. If I leave the dungeon, I'll just show you real quick. We just leave the dungeon, right back in. So this is something to consider when you're going fast. This is back, and this enemy is back. This is a trapdoor room. If a room has a trapdoor and it's got that push puzzle, you do not have to kill the enemies in the room. If it does not have a push puzzle and you get trapdoored, then yes, you do have to clear out the enemies in the room. Fortunately, I can't really speed this up. We're doing this live, so I don't have that. Okay. We have the map, so we know where to go. There's an item here this way. Hopefully it's a key and not a meteor. It's a meteor. Take advantage of your bike warps. This will help you clear out screens, or it just kind of helps you speed up your movement around the map a little bit. But use it wisely. Make sure that you are done with an area before you use it. Otherwise, you have to go all the way back to where you were and do it again. If you don't have a speed tunic, lighter is an awesome movement tag. You do have to be careful though, because fire burns. So just watch out for that. Group your enemies as best you can to raise your DPM. When you find the boss key, just warp back to the boss. Now, bosses 1, 2, 3, we do in order. 4 through 8, we do not do in order. We'll get there when we get there. All right, so Zari was telling me something about doing this boss in a certain order here. I did this all wrong. I should have done my quick. Okay, well, we still got the quick hit in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh! Oh! I didn't plan for the travel time. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Shut your butt. I goofed it. There we go. I get the idea. Needs a little work on my part. Not on you, Zari. That one's on me. And again, bosses 1, 2, and 3 have a normal looking heart, like right here. Press A to skip to progress the text. Open your map. If I close this map, we go into a cutscene and it wastes time. Oh, those timings were from standing as close as safe. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's on me. So we're off to Dungeon 3. Again, maybe you don't feel as comfortable fighting the enemies. Some of these enemies are pretty daunting, and you know, just kind of they'll rock you if you're not paying attention. Maybe you've got some money. Maybe you want to go buy some potions. Feel free to do that at any time, whenever it feels good for you. Remember, you got your bike warp, and then you can always warp back to wherever. I didn't mean actually warp, but we did it. It's okay, we can take this time to show off movement speed with the dash, with the lighter. That's right, I was gonna go down the screen here. Oh, here's a friendly bat. Maybe you want to pick up a pet to help you in your fight, in your adventure. Do be careful though, they tend to throw themselves at explosive enemies and they will get you hurt quick. So here's level 3. Dead end room. Here's another example of, if you want, it is slower, but killing an enemy in these dead end rooms like this usually provide a drop. So if you're looking for books, let's say you're doing the perfect ending, you do need to collect a certain number of those books. For reasons. Nice map. Now we know the dungeon layout. Another good lesson to learn is the dungeon layouts for the various levels. I call this one swimmy pants. I don't know why. It kind of looks like the swim pants. Or frog legs. It could be frog legs. Why am I not getting those meteors? Oh, good point. So if you collect 10 meteors, you can get an upgraded sword. It does more damage per swing, and it lets you swing and move at the same time, whereas the basic sword, you do have to stop and slow down. I do like frog legs as soon as I said it. So even though we don't have the boss key to get into the boss room, it is handy to come to this room, because now if I leave, I can actually warp to this screen whenever. So the second that we get the key to enter into that boss room, we got it. I'm ready to rock. In case you guys forgot, which I did, the dungeons are pretty linear as to what items you need to get through them. This right here is a block that you use a bow to clear. So in this dungeon, we are picking up the bow. That is our item, and it's actually right here on the screen. These enemies are on fire, and there's a few of them. Since they are on fire, I cannot use fire to kill them. Doesn't do anything. But what does hurt them is holes in the ground. There you go. Take advantage of your environment. It helps a lot. So now I have the bow, and I can clear out these target rooms. I'm not going up here because it's a dead end. If I wanted to look for certain items, I could go there. Skipping those enemies because I literally do not need to take them out to advance to the next room. Nor do I need to kill the crab in this room or this room. The game lets me freely go to the next area, so that's what I'm doing. All right, that's a dead end there. So we got one of these rooms is a meteor, and one of these rooms is a key. And unfortunately, I don't know. Okay, so this door locked. This is a trapdoor room. I call them trapdoors. And it's a dead end. I think Zari was once telling me about, like, explain this. And Impy too. That's so you can kind of tell if it's an important item or not. Anyway, we got that key, so we can just go ahead and warp right back in. You can tell which one of those two has the key, since the one with the meteor had 2 unlocked exits. You tried to explain it to me once, and I was blowing it. So this here is Crabadon. Crabadon's a fun boss, and a lot of people have trouble with this one. You can strafe in this game, either by holding a button, see I'm walking sideways, or if you just hold your bow out. You want to hit those before... So see, I can just stay in line here. The wiggle means get out of the way, and now we know that this claw is going to open next. Right here. And next it's the face. Pretty easy. That's the first phase. We don't get to see the second phase here in this little explanation video. Yeah. Strafe with the boss. I didn't skip the cutscene. Here's a piece of the story. Yeah. Yep. Yep. That's what I remember. That's what I remember. That's what I remember. And then watch this right here. See this? See this right here? There you go. Integral part of the story right there. And if you don't skip the cutscene, you can only get through that at a certain speed. You can mash the text as fast as you want, but there are actual like animation parts. And then once you leave that screen, you are met with a save prompt, which is slow. So to make sure to not do that. And now since we talked to Paige, we can see where we have to go next, which is right here. This will be level 4, aka the Guild LLC. Fun part, this is where the fun begins. This is where the fun begins. Yeah, well, let's get up there. We'll get up there and then we can kind of talk about it a little bit more. Do you guys have any more questions? I don't know if I'm covering everything properly or not, but I feel like we're doing pretty well so far. All right. Here's the Guild LLC. Walk in and there's supposed to be a dungeon around here somewhere. And you can go this way, and I'm pretty sure it's barred off. I don't think I've ever been to that side. No, I have been. I've been over there. So you got to go this way. Unfortunately, you cannot pre-buffer lighter dashes. Here's the chairman. I usually get through this section in like 2 seconds by doing button mashing, of course. So, level 4 and level 8 both start you off not at the entrance of that dungeon. You get dropped in. Alright, so one thing that I always do, and a lot of us do, is the first thing that you want to do is find the entrance. Alright, that's step 1. And we're gonna get this later. I am going to play through this dungeon normally to a point. But we normally do not fight this boss at this point in any of the runs, actually. We don't fight this boss. Starting now, we don't fight bosses. We just get items and we get out. Actually, for any of the 3 endings. You get the items and you get out. I will show you something later about the dungeon layouts, which actually comes in handy, as you guys will see later. So this is a locker room, so this will not be a meteor. This will be a okay, Zari. Okay, Zari. What? That was 3 locked exits. That was not 2 or more unlocked exits. If you feel like you need it, you can go out of your way to collect meteors. Maybe it's more pertinent on a seeded run. I personally do not collect them. All right, so these enemies here, these are green. They restore health, I'm pretty sure. I'm seeing this crack in the wall right here. I don't know if you guys can see that wall shake. Whenever you see something shake like that, it lets you know that it's removable. Again, I didn't really group my enemies. I should have, but I didn't. You can hear that. Dunk! They're regaining health, and it's annoying. Luckily, they're just the spiders, and they're not the wizards. All right, so we have the bombs, one of the most fun items in the game, and also one of them, one of the scariest. Fun little trick here. You've probably seen it if you played like Link's Awakening. You can hold the bomb, and you can shoot it with an arrow. Now, if you watch my arrow count does not go down. They can be worth it in the perfect ending if you come across them. You think. Yes. Okay. So I am currently looking for the map. Normally, if we were playing this, if this was like a speedrun, we'd be out of this dungeon already because we found the item, which is all we're after. And we found it quick in Dungeon 4, which is handy. But it's also not handy because now I still have the rest of the dungeon to figure out, which is slow. But it can be made faster when you come back later. So check this out. When you throw a bomb, you have to wait for it to detonate. If you shoot a bomb, you can get rid of it faster. Which is faster? It's the same cost as a bomb. Bomb arrows also make a fantastic weapon. Sometimes. You can get rid of snail trails faster if you set them on fire. Usually snail trails are poison, and that's not good, especially if you only have so much health. All right, still looking for the map. So what I wanted to point out is this dungeon layout is a square, and it's kind of hard to see it here, but there's this top row here of 5 rooms. These are all rooms, and then these 5 up here can potentially house a secret room. So let's go ahead and check real quick. What if it was on the screen? That would be so sick. That'd be so sick. So since bombable walls are only shown... Okay, so this is the boss, so we don't need to be here. Bombable walls are only shown in this game when it's in the bomb dungeon, and it's like the next room that you have to progress to, if that makes sense. Dungeon with bombs will have the correct... Oh, even for the secret room? Is that so? I didn't know that. I never... Like, see this here? So this is not the secret room, but that wall you can blow up. But it just takes us back to that room. Actually, we can just go ahead and warp back to the start. I don't know if that was fast or not. It doesn't matter. Let's go up. Yeah, let's go. Let's just find the secret room here. Did I do this one yet? All right, let's get this map. We don't need the map. We don't need the map. We have the item. We know where we're going. We have the key. We could have fought the boss already. Yeah, we'll fight the boss. We'll fight the boss. But first, let's go find this room. So you're telling me that the secret room in the bomb dungeon actually shows? It's crazy. I didn't know that. Also, I am running low on bombs, so... It does not, Impy. At least not for the secret room. But yeah, bombable walls only show cracks in the bomb dungeon, but not the secret room. So anyway, this is what I was talking about earlier. You strafe along these walls here like this, and eventually you find a wall that shakes. Do you guys see that shake? I hope that shows up on stream. So this would be a secret room, which will have a secret item. Secret items start in dungeon 4 and go through dungeon 8. So 4 through 8 have a secret. Do we not have swim yet? We do not have swim yet, so we can't actually get this item. We literally cannot get this item. Oh, this is fresh. Literally can't get this item. If we could get this item right now, we could skip, if we could get this item, we could skip the swim dungeon in catastrophe ending, or partially in a sacrifice run, but that we need to discuss that way later. For right now, that item's useless. You don't check for secret rooms until you get the dungeon 8 item, which is the glasses, which are really fun, and it makes secret room searching a little bit easier. Anyway, let's go do this boss fight. Again, we don't do this in this order when we're playing. We get the item from dungeon 4 and we get out of here. But since we're here, oh, it doesn't let you swim, it just lets you stay in place? Really? So this is a fun little boss. I'm gonna set something up ahead of time here just because I can. If you stay on the first tile when you enter this room, like a boss room, bosses don't spawn. Okay, I think this is lined up. So before I even start this boss, I will explain it. This is Tantaluchus. This is our first boss with 2 phases. Dungeons 4 through 8 all have 2 phases. The text screen when you pick up their heart is 2 boxes. So you have to advance, clear, then map. This boss is a bit of a quick fight here, and I'll show it to you. And basically what it is you need to line up in the center of the screen, X position, which is where I am now, as you'll see. And we can skip a phase. We can skip a phase of this fight. And aside from that, this boss is actually really easy to deal with. You guys will see. So you just get up here and you hold out your sword. In 8-bit, there is one light orange right next to the left of the sword hilt. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. And that lets you know that you're in the center of the screen, and you just walk down here and you skip the spin drill phase. Okay. I just got hit, so now I got to find my position again. So that's part 1 of this fight. And then there's these tentacles that you have to bomb out of the ground. And then you have to hit them again. And third time it doesn't matter if you're in the center, because we're doing the second phase after this. But just make sure you hit those tentacles. If you miss those tentacles, they start going all over the room. And it takes a long time, and it sucks. So we're on a phase 2. So as you can see, this is like the glitch phase. I refer to it as second phase, but a lot of folks call it the glitch phase. Mr. Peanut Reaper, aka James, informed me that 8 shots take place until this boss is vulnerable here. The bosses in 8-bit and 32-bit look way different, but fundamentally they play the same. First try. So wait for 8 shots. You have to avoid these shells. They're like plasma ball shots in 32-bit. And then you wait for the probe there, and then we go get this heart. So now we're doing 2 screens. I don't know why it does that. There's one extra word for some reason. I think it's permanently. But you have to clear that one, and then you can do the skip to skip cutscenes because it's fast. And we're out of here. This is the halfway point of the game. Power of Compassion. We use that for perfect ending, and perfect ending only. Sort of. No, is this monster? Oh, monster. What did it say before? You think I would know this stuff? I don't pay attention. I just go fast. Consuming this monster heart. Oh, instead of heart. Consuming this heart, consuming this monster heart. Why is that? Do we know why that is? I probably should have watched that cutscene. Maybe that would explain it. Awesome. Actually, pretty decent bridge layout here. It's close enough we can warp right to it. The bridge to the east side is always on this this column here. This vertical strip right here. The graphics for the heart start becoming more realistic here. Yeah, I was wondering why I didn't actually have the veins. I think that's on 5, and then it starts doing like the glitch stuff, right? You think I would know this, guys? Seriously. But I think what we're gonna do here, for me personally, this will be where we cut, and stay tuned for part 2, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. See you in the next one.